Hi, my name is Greg Hake. I'm a retired Navy SEAL, did approximately 20 years in the SEAL teams, 22 years in the military overall. Currently work for a startup pharmaceutical company and am an entrepreneur, if you will. So ended a relationship. I was trauma bonded with a woman that I met after my buddy's best friend and teammate committed suicide in my last year of service. He and I went through buds together, we lived together. I'm godfather to his children, he was godfather to my children. And my life just kind of fell apart after he did that. And then I met this woman, and her and I were together in a relationship for 3 years and kind of escaped into that. And then when she left, all of those wounds kind of came back. And was in a really bad place, and met Rome pre-COVID back in 2019 in July, and we just maintained, we developed a friendship, really. And then when things were bad, at one point he reached out to me rather serendipitously and asked how I was doing, and I very transparently told him, I am not in a good place. I'm really, not sleeping. I'm constantly in fight or flight. I'd lost, at that point, I was down to like 185 pounds, and not in a good way either. And was just really not, my nervous system was just maxed out. I was waking up in the middle of the night, typically around 3 a.m. after about 3 hours of sleep, and I was double dosing CBDs to sleep, sleep meds from the VA, and melatonin, and I was only getting like 3 hours of sleep, and was still like waking up in the middle of the night, screaming, covered in sweat, heart racing, felt like I was going to have a heart attack. And so that's when I reconnected with Rome, and then graciously he offered for me to come up here to Wyoming and do a return. My sleep's definitely improved already this week. I have a Whoop, which measures your HRV, your sleep, your heart rate, all sorts of stuff. And just this morning, after 4 days, it says your deep sleep duration has increased significantly. I've only had one nightmare since coming here, really, which is great because I was having them every night prior to coming. I've noticed like my body has changed as well. For me, so much of my mental and emotional state is tied to my physical well-being, and I have noticed a significant shift just within these few days, physically, of how well I feel. Like there's still the aches and pains, and it's a process, but the trend over this past 4 days has been significant, very significant improvements.
What's the process been like?
It's been great. It's provided much needed structure in a very different way. Coming from the SEAL teams, I spent most of my adult life in the teams, and it's very much a burnout culture, and it's train, hard. And it's the same thing in the corporate world. Whilst I do work for a startup currently, it's still a corporate environment, and it's hard work. And this has really forced me to throttle back and do things that I normally wouldn't do, but are still insanely beneficial. And I've noticed myself getting stronger physically and mentally and emotionally just from the work that we've been doing. It's been quite a transformation. Wish I had more time, honestly.
No, I wouldn't swim all the way over there. What?
Oh. Okay, maybe that's mom.
Yeah, too close. Oh, she's coming in the water.
Yeah, who would I recommend this for? I think every human being could benefit from this. Will every human being prescribe this? Probably not. You need to be willing to put in the work, and it really is work. People that are at the bottom, which I was clawing my way out of the bottom after this watershed moment, if you will, or change of chapter, and I had some forward momentum, but this is really shifting things in a positive way. And I would say that more metaphorically, I'm starting to run downhill. And I mean, there's still a lot of distance that needs to be carried or covered, if you will. But I think that the momentum that I've gained just from these 4 days is really going to carry me into the next chapter of my life in a very positive fashion. So people that are willing to put in the work, people that are looking for a change, people that are dissatisfied as well, that have plateaued out and are unhappy and they're at the peak, if you will, and saying, I've done all these things and I'm still miserable. Because I was doing all sorts of things prior to this too, and filling up my time, and it was just leaving me kind of empty. And I think this can give you that purpose and fill that void. I was working out almost every day, and the way I looked at it was exercise from a statistical study perspective is the best way to cure depression. There's multiple studies that show that, and I was very depressed from that perspective. And I was burning out my body, and so sorry, what was the question again?
What were some of the things that you were doing?
Oh yeah, okay. What are some of the things I was doing? I was drinking a lot too. Not a lot, but more than I typically do. I'd throttle back on the drinking, and then after reading some stuff or listening to stuff from Huberman, I just recently shifted out of that. But this has really solidified that is not for me. I was definitely engaging in some escapism too, which was I've got to stay active, I've got to be busy, and there's like a fine line between being distracted and being busy, and then being and running from the pain, if you will. And this has kind of allowed me to really sit with it, especially with the breathing exercises. I'm absolutely blown away by the emotional depth that you can get just from the breathing ceremonies, if you will, that Rome did with me. Complete disclosure, I have done 5-MeO-DMT as part of a veteran PTSD retreat, which was incredibly beneficial, and achieved that state through the ingestion of poison toad venom. And then here was able to achieve that state just by breathing, and was blown away by that. And the transformative work that we did over a back-to-back 3-day period of doing the breath work has just been incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. Does that answer your question there?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
If you had a friend that was on the fence about coming here, for sure. Cool. If you had a friend that was on the fence about coming here, what would you tell them?
It's life-changing. It's like, you need to go. I've got 3 people just right now that I can think of. I've got more than that, honestly. But just initially, my initial thoughts are these 3 people should come here. And they would be open to it. The thing is that you need to be open to a different perspective. And give yourself permission to be surprised. Give yourself the opportunity to be open to being surprised. And the things that you do really can change you in an incredibly positive way.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.